Raison d'etre, or reason for being, has got to be my favorite buzzword in philosophy because it's just so deep, man. It's basically saying, why? What's the purpose? Why does this exist? And why? What's the whole meaning behind things? And in philosophy, that's really what you're trying to do is find meaning. And if you look at any of the top book sales in the world, purpose and meaning are really important. That ranks really high with book publications, but also in anything in life, man. It's important to know the reasoning behind it. Now, I want to talk about Flesh and Blood and have a whole discussion on raison d'etre around Flesh and Blood first, and then I'll run off in a bunch of rant tangents at the end, most likely, because man, I really like that topic. It's really interesting. So, of course, we know Flesh and Blood TCG. It has two main purposes: collectability and playability. On the website of fabtcg.com, you can see at the very end of the article, James White had released two articles in 2018. The first two articles for the Flesh and Blood TCG website, and one of them was about collectability, and the other was about playability. And it essentially said, this is why we are not making an online game, is because of these two purposes. We want to make a game collectible and playable. And if you think about the word TCG, let me break it down for you guys. Trading card game. Well, the cards are Flesh and Blood. The trading aspect is the collectability. I mean, if everyone had the same cards, if everyone had access to all the same cards, you wouldn't need to trade. So there has to be a limited collectability supply type of card to make it a trading card game. So that's the collectability side. But then the playability side of it is the game. You have to play the game. So that's the G in TCG. So all in all, you have Flesh and Blood, the game, and the trading card game that's all encompasses of the raison d'etre of Flesh and Blood, the trading card game. Now you also have Legend Story Studios, who produces Flesh and Blood. And James White has said multiple times, and it's also in the front of the lore book in multiple places. It says, trading card games are a great medium to gathering people, no matter who you are, where you're from, what you're about, getting a bunch of people who wouldn't normally interact to interact and form bonds and and have friendships. And it's getting people together in the flesh and blood, in real life, together in front of each other to play a great trading card game. And that's their raison d'etre, is to create trading card games. That's Legend Story Studios' purpose. That's their purpose in doing these things. Now, you might tell me, Bronson, I get you, man. I've read those things and I feel you. But the reason why these are so important is because they serve as a compass. When anything comes up, regardless of what it is, let's say the online space, right? That is a discussion that they probably had in the beginning with, Legend Story Studio. Should we turn this into an online thing? Because online games are kind of the big deal in 2020 and 2021 in the 21st century. It's all going digital, man. And to make a trading card game now is really tough because a lot of stuff is going digital. But if you saw in those first two articles in the Flesh and Blood website, the caption at the top is, this is why we are not creating an online game. And when you think about it, man, that is where your compass comes into play. When those mission statements, when those raison d'etre or purpose of Flesh and Blood, right, is to get people in the Flesh and Blood. That's what Legend Story Studios is trying to do. And if you have a trading card game that's online, well, you're not doing that. People aren't coming to play. And not only that, you're not really collecting a collectible. It's just an online thing that doesn't exist. It's ones and zeros out in the web space. That's not collectible, no matter how much companies may charge for some digital card that's not collectible at all, man. You can't feel it, you can't touch it, it's not yours. And if that site goes down, who knows what's going to happen to your ones and zeros? They're going to go flying out into the digital realm and never exist again. So it's not really collectible, man. And you're not playing in the flesh and blood. So that online strategy for this game was not what Legend Story Studios was about, and it was not what Flesh and Blood is about. And this forms as a great example of how their compass of having a raison d'etre or mission statement really made it to have a really easy decision because they didn't think about, okay, how much money is this gonna be versus trading card game for a physical trading card game. They didn't look at any other aspect or the logistics or different costs or what have you. They didn't look at any of those types of stuff. It was more of, okay, what are we about? What is our purpose? And when they compared an online game to the purpose of them themselves, they said, no, this directly conflicts with what we're about. And this can go for anything in life, us or other companies, companies in general, man. They have a mission statement on their websites saying, hey, this is what we're all about. And that's so important. It's so important to say, hey, this is what I'm about. And when circumstances come up in my life, in the company's aspects of the world, you read through the verbiage of the mission statement and say, hey, this is the course that we're taking. Does it really jive with what we're communicating to everyone else? And if it doesn't, man, then you got to reconsider. You got to make decisions that are going towards your compass because a lot of things that are going to go on in life, man, that are going to be hard. You're going to have to make hard decisions. I'm sure Legend Story Studios and Flesh and Blood, around like decisions around Flesh and Blood have been really tough. I can't imagine different circumstances that the card game has had in general up until this point. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot of stuff in the background that we'll never hear about most likely. But the point I'm making is that having a purpose is really important. And I want to turn around to me and when I'm making flesh and blood content or putting out videos on the interwebs on YouTube. What is my purpose? And I've said many times, I am a grower. I'm not a shower. I know I'm making videos and putting them out there, but I really want to grow the flesh and blood community and I want to make content that makes people really get into the game and or even start making content for themselves on flesh and blood. But basically I want to get more people in the flesh and blood community. And I know, I know I'm a very small tomato plant in the huge grand scheme of things in the whole flesh and blood TCG community garden. I am this very small tomato plant, man, but I I'm trying to do my level best, and I feel that a lot of people out there are doing their best, man. I mean, there's so many awesome people in this community, and it's really cool to see all the plants growing, and I'm really happy about that, man. And I want to tell you, if you're listening to me right now and you're interested in making content, man, go for it. I mean, I want to tell you that it's very, very rewarding experience, and it's not rewarding in the material form. I currently if you look at how much I've spent and how much I've made, I only made a small amount of money on this Mercari affiliate link, but all the other expenses that have gone into the camera and the lighting and everything, it way outweighs the profit, if you call it that I've made. But what was really rewarding so far and I might get into monetization in the future, but currently I'm not focused on that, man. I'm trying to make some good videos out there. I'm just passionate about flesh and blood and I want to harp on that. If you're really passionate about this game, which I am, and that's why I'm making all this content and putting a lot of labor into it because it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun interacting with the community and I want to really dive deep into that. So when I say content creation and people are content creators, I agree that that's a term and that's fine. But the more that I'm thinking about, man, I'm more of a content interactor. This is a lot of my opinions going into Flesh and Blood, telling you my opinions of the game and really what I think. And it's really a different form of interacting because I could post on a blog, I could go on to Discord, I could go on to various different media websites or programs or what have you. and interact. But I choose to make video content and put it out there on YouTube. And then when people comment on my stuff, then I interact with them. And the community also has really good discussions on the videos. And a lot of these videos, I'm just making a discussion point. I.e., this video. It's all about discussing the purpose and the purpose of Flesh and Blood and purpose of Legend Story Studios. And I know you guys are gonna have different opinions, thoughts, and ideas too, but I just really want to harp too is that I think the whole purpose, right, of making content as well, in my mind, and what I have started with is just being passionate about the game. And that's really great because I really like doing it, and it really makes me doing it instead of focusing on the monetary thing at this time. But I want to tell you that this has been an extremely rewarding for the intangible things that I've received. I've received so many intangible things that I can't even tell you, man. I mean, just the support of the community is great. The Flesh and Blood TCG community is so nice to me overall. I mean, overall, it's just been really great positive feedback and just a lot of great people reaching out to me, and I've made a lot of great friendships. I mean, I made a friend with Mitch from MidtownMerchant.com. You know, he's a great guy, and I love talking to him and hearing what he's up to. And you've got so many awesome guys. You got the Outcast Haven guys. I've been on their channel. You got Kale from Dead Summer Art. He's an awesome guy. I've had a lot of PMs with him in the past, and just a lot of people, man. And there's gosh, I know I'm forgetting some people. I mean, there's a Flesh and Bones YouTube channel with Jordan from Cobra Pearl. Anyone who I've done my drinking with Bronson stuff with. AJ from Adventure Co Gaming, and just so many awesome people. And if I forgot your name, please hit me up in the comments. But just there's been a lot of amazing people, and it just goes to show you that I'm having trouble remembering all the people that I've met and interacted with and created friendships with, and everyone in this community. That just goes to show if you watch videos out there of content creators talking to each other, we're all cool people. We're all just normal guys in our normal room for the most part, and we're just chilling and having a fun around a great trading card game. And there's other content creators out there that you know who you are, and they've interacted with me, and it's just been such. I've been so humbled hearing from them, and there's just so many other people who I've talked with, and they've really given me great encouragement. And I mean, I also want to say Legend Story Studios. I mean, they've just they're very phenomenal. They're very nice, and they're nice to a lot of people in the community, and I really appreciate them as well. And you know, I mean, in December, they got me this banner, and that really meant a lot to me. I mean, at that point, I made 200 videos around, and a lot of them I've deleted since then. But I made a lot of content for this game in a short 3 month period at that point, and they were nice. They got me this banner for Christmas, and I or for the holiday season. I do celebrate Christmas, but they got this for the holiday season. That was really nice of them. So I just want to harp on that if you are thinking about making content, or if let's say you're a content creator, man, and you are interested in anything, please hit me up, man. I want to support other content creators as much as possible. I'm not in competition with any content creator out there, or content interactor. You know, if you're interested in Flesh and Blood, man, you my people, you're cool. you know, let's have a talk. It's all good, man. I am not trying to put out a vibe that I am making the only type of conspiracy theory or any type of jank booster pack opening or any video out there. If you want to make content that I make or have made something like this, go for it. Do it. I don't care. I would love to see that. And I've had instances in the past where people are like, hey, I really like that video. I want to make a certain video on that. I'm like, dude, go nuts. I'll watch your video and I'll hear your opinion and thoughts and ideas. And they do. And I do watch their video. And I can't say that I'm going to do that every single time. I'm going to definitely do the best of my abilities. I'm not throwing any promises, but I just want to wrap it up and say that I really appreciate everyone out there. I mean, even if you don't decide to do content creating, and content creating is tough. It's a big time commitment. It's a big thing to do and put your face out there on the internet. That there's a lot of things that you have to really get a grip with and understand what you're going into with content creating. But basically, just want to leave off by saying that you won't probably get the most amount of monetary gains from it, but there's so many intangible things that you'll get. I mean, another thing is just me speaking, me being able to talk as well as I can at this current moment is all due to making a ton of videos in the past. I mean, I've made over 250 videos at this point, and all of that accumulated experience has gone into me verbally being able to speak like this. It's just like the gym, man. It's not me working out my amazing bod. It's me working out my mouth hole. I'm able to communicate a lot better, and that is huge in life. There's so many instances where you're able to speak better. I mean, at your job, at work, and maybe in different relationships to your friends, or if you're trying to do any type of speech or Toastmasters. I mean, this is if you're trying to learn speech, I think YouTube video creation is perfect. It's a perfect thing to do, especially if you're doing something like I am, where you're just verbally speaking for a really long ass period of time. You learn a ton, and that's another example of me intentionally learning something, and that's what I've gained. It wasn't in the form of, okay, Bronson, here's your $30 worth of speech credits. It's not that. It's very intangible. And another thing is like the relationships that I've built, and I've talked to people. Another guy that I regretted uh, mentioning is Jason from Deck Edge. Man, he's another cool guy, and I hear a lot of cool stories from him, and yeah, I mean that's another relationship that I've formed as well, and that all those intangible mediums are a really great reason to content create. And I just want to say that the Flesh and Blood TCG community, in my mind, especially with the content out there, is a big ass garden, a vegetable garden. And I am a tomato plant, and I've just enjoyed so much over the last couple months watching this vegetable garden grow so high. There's so many stalks of corn that are 6 feet tall, and there's strawberries, and there's blueberries and radishes and onions. They're all blossoming and growing, and it's great to see. And I want to see more of that. And I really appreciate all the content creators out there who've been nice to me and who are doing great things in the Flesh and Blood TCG community. I hope they, grow more and more, and I hope it all grows. And yeah, I just wanted to also leave off with, if you are thinking of doing this, yeah, please, man, it's a great thing to do. There's a lot to be gained. But going into why I'm saying this is my purpose. I said in the beginning of this, and you might think I've delineated and went off track. I want to grow the Flesh and Blood TCG community, and I know content creation is big. Having more people putting out videos is gonna make other people join up and do this. But I want to say that I really have enjoyed seeing the vegetable garden grow, and I'm looking forward to more of it growing in the future. And at this point, I think that Legend Story Studios has put so much fertilizer on the ground that it doesn't matter how much I do anything, everything's gonna grow no matter what. Everything is just really going to insane places. So I have every bit of faith in the game and whatnot. It's just nice to help a little bit with the fertilizer on the side and do my little part there. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation, and this whole topic with around raison d'etre is really important because when, like I said earlier, when you have different things in life come up, if you're a business person, anyone, it's nice to have a compass to show you what to do. So anyway, That's it. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good one, guys.